Because Pakistan cannot buy a suitable input shaft, they can only look for parts at the scrapyard. The owner of the car immediately liked the scrapped input shaft. After the repair shop's glasses, Uncle checked it. He said that such a crack only costs 3,000 rupees and can be directly repaired to a new one because the shaft rod still fixes the original shaft stroke. Fu also needs to use a hydraulic press to squeeze it apart to facilitate the subsequent splicing of the broken position. This kind of oblique crack cannot be directly welded. Fu first needs to fix it with the car window claw plate to restore it so that the cutting line can be accurately compared. Considering that the cross-section cutting will cause the length to be shortened, copper round steel is needed to make up for the docking. After simply confirming the splicing plan, it is necessary to use the missing high-temperature heating before cutting. The purpose is to soften the shaft rod by heat. The hardness will drop rapidly, the effect of mud. This time, the Aver Media 3-section docking is needed. The inclined surfaces outside the marking line must be removed until the end surface is smooth and flat. If the 3-section splicing can also be concentric and coaxial, the center of the wheel end must be drilled with a drill. It can increase the strength of the 3-section splicing. The concentricity of the input shaft will not be offset. The position is the key to repairing this shaft. Although they did not use cutting fluid for drilling, as long as the speed of the lathe is not too fast, it will not affect the final hole position docking. Welding area. The edge of the hole tail needs to be cut out with a larger groove. The joint part of the stop will also break. After the hole diameter of the gear end is confirmed, the same method needs to be used for the flower sword end. The fracture surface must be reproduced and processed so that it can fit the filler round steel tightly. After the Yang Yi ring is heated to a certain temperature, it can be cut by the lathe tool. After the master uses the drill bit of the same grade to open the hole, the two ends now meet the same splicing standard. Obviously, the filler round steel needs to be embedded in the hole. Before processing, the depth of the hole must be compared. The length reserved for the protrusion of the stop round steel is too short. Since Lua Wen was not used for this docking, Fu must ensure that the outer diameter of the protrusion is completely consistent. So the end hole diameter must be measured with a card return to facilitate the master to confirm the strength of the knife with a micrometer. According to the measured spacing, the Aver metal protrusions are continuously cut and reduced. There will be gaps. The gaps are machined at both ends of the input shaft. The steps of the steel need to be reproduced with the same amplitude to ensure that the epitaxial welding area is sufficient. The hard connection of the position cannot have any minerals. After all, this will affect the concentricity of the two. After the master machined the protrusions at both ends of the Aver metal, the broken input shaft met the requirements of the 3-stage docking. Then use engine oil for lubrication to prevent the wolf head from inserting too difficultly when knocking. After the gear end is docked, the sword end also needs to be continuously knocked by the wolf head. Although the whole process seems very simple, the master must accurately grasp each hammer. The longer flower sword end will also have an eccentricity. The input shaft has been basically restored at this time. There are still uncertainties in the 3-stage splicing. It needs to be rotated on the lathe to check the concentricity. After confirming that there is no problem, the groove can be fully welded. The weld bar will definitely be higher than the shaft diameter. In order not to affect the normal use of the input shaft, the master also needs to use a lathe tool to process the weld bar cover the traces of the 3-stage splicing. The Aver metal with deviation in outer diameter can be used to meet the factory standard of the input shaft. Considering that the parts in the scrapyard are seriously rusted, the surface needs to be simply demortised with an angle grinder to restore the original luster of the input shaft. So this scrapped input shaft picked up from the scrapyard was skillfully repaired by the master with Aver metal. The segmented docking well restored the original length. What do you think of this repair?